Just something. Take it for water. The fuck out. Where's the power? What? Mm-hmm. Perspective.